Welcome back to Strive to Thrive. We are officially on the last week of level 2, and today we're going to be focusing on a lot of standing coordination and balance exercises. So all you really need for today is your chair and then some room to move around, as we'll be doing different walking exercises and standing in place, moving around. We're going to do our normal warm-up first, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So let's get warmed up. So today we're going to start with some high knees and some big forward arm circles. Drive those knees up with some big forward arm circles. And then from there, kick those heels back and cross the arms out in front. All right, next up, your feet are about hip width apart, knees are just slightly bent. Bring those hands just to rest on the side of your head. We're just going to give that hip hinge. No, stop. Okay, bring those feet out so they're about hip width apart. Bring the hands next to your ears, just kind of resting up here, not pulling on your neck at all. We're going to push those hips back as we bend down at the waist. Slowly stand back up. We're just going until we feel that slight stretch in the hamstrings, and then standing back up. Let's go for one more. Okay, next up, toe taps out in front, and add in the chest press. We're just trying to warm up our muscles. Even though we're just doing stretches today, it's still important to make sure our muscles are warm before we stretch them. Take it into heel taps and add in those arm curls. Okay, next up, tap out to the side and reach over. Really getting a good reach to stretch all along the side of our body. Okay, you can stop with that. Next up, we're going to be stepping in a square. What it's going to look like is it's going to be stepping forward, to the side, back, and to the side. So if you need to hold on, please do so, but you're just going to start out stepping in one direction. Don't worry, of course we'll do both directions. Try to stay looking straight ahead rather than down at your feet, but make sure you are picking your feet up. And let's switch directions. Think about like you're stepping in 4 squares. And relax. Okay, next up, we're just gonna twist side to side. Make sure you pivot on that back foot so you don't hurt your knee. And then we're going to finish off our warm-up with some of those reverse shoulder rolls. And relax. Now that we're warmed up, we're going to kind of continue on with some warm-up type exercises, but we'll have some fun with it, adding in an element of coordination and some dynamic balance, meaning we're just moving around. So all of these exercises will be done for around 30 seconds. I'll walk you through each one as we go. First up, it's going to be standing mountain climbers. So ideally, try to bring the opposite arm and opposite leg up, but if that's too much, you can always just do whatever comes first to you and more natural. So do what feels best for you. Let's go ahead and begin. So just drive your knee up, Bring your hand at least over your head. Standing up tall, trying to look straight ahead. Remember, you can always hold onto your chair at any time if you want to do the exercises behind your chair, so you have something to hold on to. You're welcome to. And stop. Okay, great job with that one. Next up, this one's going to work on getting those hips moving in kind of a different way than what we normally do. So if you have any hip mobility limitations or anything like that, do the best you can. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring our feet in this way. So if you're able to bring it up high, that's great. Otherwise, just bring it up as high as you can, holding on if you need to. And as we bring up that foot, you're going to reach with the opposite arm and tap the inside of your heel, or at least reaching towards your heel. Okay, let's go ahead and give it a try. Begin. If it's too much to bring the foot too high, remember you can just kind of keep the foot lower and just reach in the general direction of the foot. And stop. Okay, next up, you're kicking back, and this time the foot that's kicking back, you're going to try to reach back with the same side hand, trying to tap the foot or at least reaching towards the foot once again. Let's begin. Same thing as the last one. If you can't get your foot up very high, don't worry about it. The idea is you're just trying to bring the foot up as high as you can and reach towards the foot. Try not to jam your fingers either. That wouldn't be good. And stop. All right, shake it out a little if you need to. Hopefully you're nice and warm at this point. Next up, we're going to be doing our cherry pickers to work on our finger dexterity. That's just where you touch each finger to your thumb. So that's the first part of the exercise. What we're going to do first is just do some marching with our arms straight out, tapping each finger to the thumb. 30 seconds, here we go. We're going to build on this, so get familiar with tapping each finger to your thumb, then we'll kind of step it up a notch. If this bothers your shoulders for any reason, you can always bring your arms a little bit lower as well. And stop. All right, hopefully you're feeling good with that, because next up, our toes are going to be tapping back, and we're doing cherry pickers with our arms straight in front. Just a little bit of different movement, still remembering to move those fingers. Here we go. Same thing for this one. If this bothers your shoulders for any reason, you can bring those hands a little lower. That should take some pain or tightness or anything out of those shoulders. And stop. All right, last one with our cherry pickers. This time our heels are going to be tapping in front. Still have our arms out in front with our cherry pickers, but we're adding in arm circles. So for this one, go in whatever direction it feels natural for you, but keep moving those fingers while you move the arms and do your heel taps forward. I know it's a lot, that's the point of it. Just have some fun with it. So heel taps to start. Bring the arms straight out, cherry pickers, and add in those arm circles. The circles don't have to be fast. It can be as big or as small as you'd like. Once again, you can bring the arms down a little bit lower if that helps your shoulders at all. If you want to get real fancy, you can try to switch directions here, but you don't have to. and stop. All right, shake it out a little. You can kind of bring those arms in front of your body some. Those cherry pickers can work our shoulders. All right, we've got one more exercise that will be standing in place, and then we're going to do some walking exercises. So for this one, it'll look familiar. We've done it before, but we're just adding one other element to it. So we're doing our taps where we tap in front, out to the side, and then open up and tap back at a 45-degree angle. But all we're going to add this time is actually just letting your arm follow where your foot's going. Just a little bit of an added element of balance, if you will. So if you want to hold on with one hand, I definitely recommend doing that. Usually it's that back tap that gets a little tricky. So we're going for 30 seconds on each side. Let's begin. If you can, try not to tap the middle as you come back to the center each time. Try to look straight ahead. Kind of just let your eyes follow where your head's going. Whatever leg you're standing on should have a slight bend in the knee. Almost there. And stop. Okay, great job on that side. Now let's take it to the other side. Get your balance and let's begin. Stay strong here. If you feel that ankle wobbling, that's good. I want you to embrace the wobble. It means you're getting a little bit stronger. Almost there. And stop. Great job. Shake it out if you need to. If you need a drink, now's a great time to grab a drink. Otherwise, we're going to move on to some walking exercises. So for this, you will need a little bit of room. I'll be walking along my mat like usual. If you have more room to walk, that's great, but I would recommend you have something nearby to hold on to just in case, whether that's a chair, maybe you have a counter that you can walk along, or a wall, anything like that might be helpful, because I'm going to test your balance a little here. Okay, what we're going to do first is it's just going to be walking, but it's going to be out wide and then narrow. So step with one foot out wide and narrow as you're walking forward. So it'll just be wide, narrow, wide, and narrow. Notice I'm looking straight ahead. If you can do that, I'd prefer you look straight ahead, or at least just slightly down in front of you, rather than directly at your feet. All right, let's get ready and begin. Take it at your own pace. Make sure you're picking up your feet. Use the room you have. We're going for about 30 seconds on all of these. And go ahead and stop. All right, great job with that one. Next up, we're just going to be walking on our toes. This one is a little challenging depending on how strong your calf muscles may feel, so do the best you can. What I want you to do is try to come up on your toes, and then you're just going to walk that way. All right, let's begin. Come up on the toes and just walk regular steps. Might feel a little awkward. Just wait until the next one. That's when it'll feel even more awkward. You'll see why shortly. Are you looking up or are you looking down at your feet? Try to keep looking straight ahead if you can. And stop. Okay, what I meant by the next one you might feel kind of funny is because we're walking on our heels. Not something we often do. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. If you feel like you're kind of falling back a little, obviously I want you to be safe about this. If you don't feel like you're comfortable doing it, you definitely don't have to, and you can just kind of walk normal or anything like that. But if you kind of stick your hips out a little, that'll help counter the balance. So same thing like what we just did, but we're lifting our toes up, walking on our heels. Let's begin. Like I said, it's going to feel a little funny. Our last exercise, walking on our toes, you probably felt it in your calves a lot. This one, you're probably feeling it on the front of your leg, on the outside of your shin bone. It's helping strengthen that muscle. And stop. Okay, that one is done. Now, if you're into waltzing at all, this one might look familiar to you. We're going to kind of do a waltz step. All you're going to do is step forward with one foot and bring the other foot to it. So step forward and up. So I like to kind of bend my knees as I do it and just step forward. Kind of a big step. I want you to step big enough that it challenges your balance a little. We're going to start stepping with the right foot for 30 seconds and then we'll switch to the left foot. Here we go. So big step forward, step 2. Take it at your own pace. Remember, try to take some big steps. The bigger the step, the more it'll work on the balance. Still leading with that right leg. And stop. All right, left leg, same thing. Here we go. You're doing great. This might feel a little different than our normal step because normally we step one foot in front of the other. But again, it's just a different way to work on some balance. And stop. All right, this next exercise might make the brain work a little bit more. I'm going to show you coming to you and then I'll do it on my mat. But what it's going to be is you're going to step forward with the right leg and then you're going to step to the right. And then you're going to step forward with the left leg and then step to the left. Just like the last exercise, I want you to try to challenge yourself by taking some big steps. I'll walk you through what we're doing and which foot we're stepping with. Let's give it a try. Okay, so step forward with the right, step to the right. Step forward with the left, step to the left. Forward with the right, step to the right. Forward with the left, step to the left. Keep working through that. You can do it on your own now, at your own pace. A little bit longer. And go ahead and stop. All right, that's kind of a fun one. Works the brain a little differently, and it also works on forward movement as well as to the side, which is always good because we don't just move forward, we do move to the side and we turn in our daily lives. This next exercise is going to work on our hips a little bit, as well as just throw in some coordination. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring your feet about hip width apart, going into a mini squat position. So push the hips back so the knees stay behind the toes. Your chest is up. You're going to bring your arms out, and as you're stepping to the side, you're going to do some arm circles out in front. Okay? Again, shoulder issues, you can keep it low with those circles. Try to keep both feet pointed forward as you walk to the side. Let's get in position, so feet are hip width. Squat down a little, shoulders down and back, chest out, and step. It doesn't matter which way you do your arm circles. Usually whatever way you start is the way your body thinks it's the easiest, so that's great. And go ahead and stop. All right, awesome job. We've got one more exercise and then we're going to finish off with some stretches. This last exercise is going to challenge your balance probably a little bit more than these others have, because we're walking one foot in front of the other. So imagine you're on a tightrope and you don't want to fall off. Now for this one, this is when it really might come in handy if you have a wall or a counter or anything that you can kind of walk along and just have it there in case you need it at all. Take your time, but try to put one foot directly in front of the other. As you step forward, you're leaning forward before you bring the other foot in front. By leaning forward, that helps take our momentum forward rather than feeling like we're going to fall back. Okay, here we go. Get ready and begin. So step forward, lean forward slightly. Bring the other foot up. Try to make sure you're picking up both feet. If you can, look up rather than down at your feet. Keep going, you're doing great. We're almost there. And stop. All right, shake it out a little if you need to. Great job. You made it through our exercises today. Now let's finish off with some stretching. We're going to start out with some standing stretches and we'll finish the session with some seated stretches. So first up, you will need the back of the chair, so make sure that's handy. We're going to start out stretching our calf muscles since we worked those some today. So bring the right leg back, pressing the heel into the floor, trying to relax your shoulders, looking up, pressing that right heel down into the floor as much as you can will give you a nice calf stretch. And now let's bring the left leg back, same thing. Straight leg with the left leg, pressing the heel into the floor. Bring that left leg in. Next up, you're going to step out pretty wide. Your feet will be slightly pointed out, and you're just going to lean to the left to stretch your inner thigh on the right leg. Try to think about standing up nice and tall. Any chance we get, it's always a good excuse to work on that good posture. And bring it to the right now, stretching the inner thigh on the left side. And bring it back to center. You can walk those feet in. Now let's stretch our hips. So get your chair so it's on the left side of you. Bring your right leg behind your left leg. Stick your right hips out to the right. Bring the right arm over and pull it towards the left. All right, now the other side. You can have your chair on the right side. Left leg behind the right leg. Stick your hips out to the left, left arm reaching over to the right. Bring it back to center. Okay, now you can go ahead and have a seat in your chair for some seated stretches. Now that we're sitting down, try to sit towards the front of your chair. Bring your right leg out straight, hands are on the left leg. Let's just lean forward until you feel that gentle stretch in the back of the right leg. All right, now bring that right leg and cross it over the left to stretch the piriformis on the right side. Sitting up nice and tall. Try to think about keeping the left foot pointed forward the best you can. Slowly bring the right leg down. Now bring the left leg out straight. Hands are on the right leg. Let's lean forward. And now cross that left leg over the right leg, sitting up nice and tall. And go ahead and slowly lower that left leg. All right, you can sit back in your chair. Let's stretch out the chest and the front of the shoulders, front of the arms. Bring the arms out to the side, pull back, and lean back over your chair. Looking up towards the ceiling. And go ahead and sit up. Bring your right arm across your body, feeling the stretch in the back of the shoulder. And bring the left arm across now. Go ahead and lower that arm. Roll the shoulders back a couple of times. Keep the shoulders down and back. Left ear to the left shoulder. And now the right ear to the right shoulder. Remember to keep those shoulders down. Now look down to the floor and roll your head from one side to the other in the front of your body. Bring it back to center and go ahead and relax. Okay, great job today. You made it through another workout. Next time is our last workout of level 2, and I will see you then.